Oh my God, what an incredible way to end the year, right? A new Star Wars movie, Star Wars FORCE Awakens. Guys, it's me, Stuntman Jake. I'm back once again, and I'm bringing to you my first ever movie review from space. Check it out. I'm cosplaying as Han Solo to bring you my review and impressions of The Force Awakens. Now, did you like the movie? I went in looking at this movie very excited. I thought it looked amazing, but I was cautiously optimistic because I remember how burned I was for the prequels. I was excited for episode 1, okay? I remember when episode 1 came out, I took a day off from work, okay? I went to the theater, I was at the premiere the very first day, I went during the day, there was tons of excitement, and I sat in the theater and I felt embarrassed to be in the theater, okay? The prequels were an atrocity that should never be spoken of again. And in my opinion, they don't even belong in the official canon of the Star Wars films. So when I heard that J.J. Abrams was making the new ones, I saw the previews, I thought this looks amazing. And I went to the theater. I actually saw the movie twice over the weekend. I was really excited. I was cautiously optimistic, you know? So the movie looked amazing, but I have to tell you, I didn't like it. Now, I'm gonna give you my impression of the movie, and there's gonna be spoilers. So, you know, if you haven't seen the movie, why don't you go out and see the movie? You need to see it. I recommend that you see it, especially if you're a Star Wars fan like I am. Obviously cosplaying as Han Solo here, the best space captain ever, right? So I tell you what, if you haven't seen the movie, go out and see it. I'll wait, I'll hold my review until you get done. The movie's 2.5 hours. So, all right, I'll wait. Go ahead. Okay, so now everybody's seen the movie, right? Everybody's seen it by now. If you haven't, you're not a real Star Wars fan. So here's the deal. I'm gonna come right out and say it. I didn't like it. And I'm gonna tell you why. The movie kind of felt a little rushed to me. There were so many things about the movie that were great, like the set design, the props, the costumes. The movie was shot beautifully. J.J. Abrams did a great job with that. But the story was lacking. The story was totally lacking. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm talking about. First of all, as everybody's been saying, this was a rehash of Star Wars: A New Hope. Okay, so first of all, right, I gotta say, you got a universe as rich as the Star Wars universe, and you can't come up with a compelling new story? I mean, what is going on? Lawrence Kasdan helped write the script. You would think he could come up with something better than this. What this felt like to me was not Star Wars: The Force Awakens. This felt like Star Wars Episode 7, the first draft, okay? It didn't seem like they were putting a lot of effort into any character development. Now, character development is extremely important to make the story compelling, okay? And these characters didn't work. These characters absolutely did not work. I'm gonna run down what I think about that. I'm gonna start right off with the most obvious one, John Boyega's character of Finn. In the movie, he's supposed to be a stormtrooper. He didn't act like a stormtrooper. This is not a criticism of John Boyega. This is a criticism of his character. His character reminded me a lot of when Han Solo and Luke Skywalker in Episode 4 stole the stormtrooper uniforms and were masquerading as stormtroopers. His character struck me more like that. But we learned in the movie that he was taken from birth and raised as a stormtrooper, never even given a name. But he didn't act like a stormtrooper. He acted like a nervous, lost kid. There was no point throughout the movie that I thought, yeah, this guy's, you know, a badass. This guy's a firm soldier. You know, he wasn't. He didn't act like that. Now you might say, well, later it was explained that, you know, he was in sanitation. He admits towards the end of the movie to Han Solo that he was a garbage man, basically. But that doesn't jive with what he said earlier. He said he was raised from birth to be a stormtrooper, and when we're first introduced to him in the movie, he's a stormtrooper on a mission. Granted, it might be his first mission, but you're telling me he never went through boot camp? I mean, he was raised his entire life as a stormtrooper. He didn't act like one. So this is a big problem. And then, ultimately, his character doesn't really evolve throughout the whole movie. So that didn't jive. Now, furthermore, of course, the other obvious criticism is Rey. And the movie's catching a lot of heat on the internet about Rey's character because she supposedly is raised on this desert planet, not Tatooine, but Jakku, and she spent her whole life as a scavenger, and yet somehow she's an awesome fighter. She can beat the crap out of anybody, even two people attacking her at once. She knows everything about the Millennium Falcon. She can fly it better than Han Solo, and she mysteriously knows everything about how the Millennium Falcon works. She even fixes it on the fly in the heat of battle. How did she learn all this stuff? Now, people are saying, obviously, they suspect her to be Luke Skywalker's daughter, and the Force is strong with her. But in the original movies, Luke Skywalker had the Force too, but he had to go through training to develop it. It was Obi-Wan Kenobi that did the Jedi mind trick on the stormtroopers and sent them on their way. These are not the droids you're looking for, right? And Luke Skywalker's like shocked. He was not able to use any of his Jedi ability until he went through Jedi training. But Rey just, she goes, hey, I think I got the Force. Hey, undo my restraints and leave your weapon. Presto, there you go. And then, of course, she has a battle with a Sith Lord. She's never wielded a lightsaber before, and she's able to kick this guy's ass. That didn't make any sense to me. Okay, you can say she was, a pretty scrappy young lady growing up in a rough desert planet. She learned to fight, but she was going up against the Sith Lord. I mean, why didn't he just force choke her, or just, he force pushed her at first, threw her against a tree? He couldn't just do that? I mean, this did not jive. And there was no character arc. Again, she didn't progress. Now for my criticism of Han Solo. Okay, and this is where the movie really could have been a lot better. Han Solo's character didn't evolve. It didn't even evolve from 20 years ago from his last expedition, his last outing as Han Solo. When Rey and Finn first find him, he's Han Solo. He's dressed pretty much like this. What's he doing? He's smuggling. What's he doing? Hanging out with Chewbacca. He's still Han Solo, and yet they ask him, hey, aren't you Han Solo? And he says, I used to be. No, you didn't used to be. You still are. And what I'm getting at is that this would have been a lot more powerful if they had found Han Solo not as Han Solo. More like in some kind of a retirement mode. Maybe he was just, traveling on a ship or something, and they find him, and they should have had it. Let me tell you what they should have done, is they should have established when they first met Han Solo, he shouldn't have been anything like his old self, okay? They should have had him not hanging out with Chewbacca and not smuggling. I don't know doing what, maybe traveling on a ship or something. They could have, crossed paths with him there. Should have had him completely dressed different, should have reimagined his costume completely. And then, when they ask him, hey, aren't you Han Solo? And he said, I used to be. Then that would make sense. Like, he's retired from smuggling, he's settled down, he's just traveling to a different place or something like this, I don't know. But then they could have said, hey, listen, we found the Millennium Falcon. We need your help. And he could have had, going back to the Joseph Campbell rules of mythology, or his guidelines of mythology, he could have had the refusal of the call, which is important for a hero development. He could have said, no, look, I'm not doing that anymore. And then the characters would have to say, look, you don't understand, there's this giant Death Star, it's blowing up planets all the time, we need your help, we've got to confront them. And he could say, look, I don't care about that anymore. My plans are just get out of the galaxy. I'm just going to run away from the First Order. I'm not fighting anymore. That's not for me. And then maybe they could have contacted Princess Leia to help convince him, and then Princess Leia could have revealed to Han Solo, could have said, hey, look, we're going up against Kylo Ren, and guess what? He's your son. Then Han Solo would say, wow, this is my son. This is my opportunity to face him and to bring him back to the good side. I didn't know this was my son that was doing all this stuff. Okay, I'm in. Then he dons the vest or the leather jacket, he gets the old DL-44, and then he's on board. He takes control of the Millennium Falcon. He says, before we go on this mission, I got to go find Chewbacca. Who, maybe he finds out that Chewbacca has been arrested and thrown in some kind of prison, or he's on a slave planet or something. So we got a little sub-adventure there. We have to go rescue, Chewbacca, team up once again, and then team up with the rest of the people to go confront Kylo Ren. And then, whatever happens after that happens. But that would have been a character arc, you see? Would have brought him out of retirement and back to his old self. Something like that would have been great in the movie. It would have made it a lot more compelling. But what we get instead is a movie that has no character development and no character arc. I read on the internet, one person was remarking that the only character in the whole movie that had a character arc was R2-D2, because when we were first introduced to him, he's completely shut down, and then ultimately he turns back on. So, something like this would have helped the movie quite a bit, in my opinion. I thought that would have been great, but that's not what we got. Now, did I hate the movie? No, I didn't hate it like I hated the prequels, but that's setting the bar pretty low. Now, ultimately, here's the other thing. The movie was a rehash of A New Hope, okay, with a little bit of Return of the Jedi thrown in there for good measure. I'm left just kind of frustrated in the theater. They send 20 X-Wings to go blow up a giant Death Star. They show us, the Death Star was like this. Now the Star Killer is like gigantic, and they need 20 X-Wings. And by the way, we're asked to sit through this again. We're going to have another Death Star get blown up. How do they blow it up? With a trench run with 20 X-Wings. They sent 20 X-Wings against the whole planet-sized star station. It doesn't make any sense. This is what I'm saying. It felt lazy. It felt like it was a first draft that needed some development, like the characters needed development. So, that's my opinion of the new Star Wars movie. I'm sorry to say that I didn't love it, but I am looking forward to the new movies, and I think it's important for us fans to come out and say, hey, this was good, but it wasn't great, because we got more movies coming, obviously. The movie debuted, it's not even that good, and it made, I checked on the internet, it was $750 billion on opening night. That was just the first few screenings that they made. A lot of money. So they're obviously going to make more movies, but us as fans, we're handing over money like this for a product that's really not that great just because it's got the Star Wars title on it. My question now is going to be, okay, this is established that they're going to reinvent the franchise. We've got new characters. We've got Finn, we've got Rey, we've got a couple other people in there. Can these characters carry the new films by themselves? Obviously, I think that, we're going to see more of Luke Skywalker, but he's going to obviously be playing more of a Obi-Wan Kenobi type character. The new characters are going to be the emphasis of the new movies. You're going to have the new pilot, Poe, whatever his name is, and Rey and Finn. Are they going to be able to carry the new franchise by themselves? If this is all the character development that we're going to expect, my answer is no, they can't. And this is not going to go anywhere. So in the meantime, I am excited for the new movies. From what I understand, there's all this talk about spin-offs, standalone movies. They've talked about having a standalone movie for my favorite character, Han Solo. And by the way, if they're going to do a standalone movie for Han Solo, my pick to play Han Solo is Anthony Ingruber. You guys can check out his video. He has audition videos that he's done on YouTube, and his Han Solo impression is absolutely the best anywhere. He does an amazing Harrison Ford impression that's just uncanny, really. So if they were going to make a new Indiana Jones movie or a new Han Solo movie, I would love it if they picked this guy. He's a professional actor. He's not really all that well known. That would be amazing, because remember that the original Star Wars movie, they were using mostly unknowns, and in this movie, the new movie is FORCE Awakens, they cast, basically people who are fairly unknown actors. And I think that would be amazing to do a Han Solo movie and pick this guy, Anthony Ingruber. He's an amazing actor. You've got to check out his YouTube channel. Check out his celebrity impressions. I've never seen anything quite like it. I think you're really going to enjoy it. So, let me know what you think. Sorry if I spoiled anything for you. Tried to kind of keep the specifics vague, because I know maybe there's some people out there that haven't seen the movie yet. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But don't just say, hey, it's great just because it's Star Wars, okay? Anyway, may the Force be with you, always. Hey, don't forget that my Riddick goggles are still for sale. They make fantastic Christmas gifts. If you don't have time to buy them for Christmas this year, maybe for next year. They make great gifts for any occasion, really, especially like a birthday or something like that. If you want to see a great movie with great character development, great character arcs, any 3 of the Riddick movies are perfect examples of what I'm talking about. Go check them out. Let me know what you think. Happy holidays. Thanks for watching.